Join me today as I show you how to make this fun forager's notebook. Hello and welcome to the Treasured Page. I'm Melanie and this is our quiet crafting space. Today you can see I'm surrounded by a sea of butterflies. I've got lots of little projects on the go, and last time we were making these lovely journaling cards for our foraging project this month in May. So here they are. This is our May 2025 project. We are looking at foraging. And the things that you're allowed to forage for are designated by the 4 F's. That is fruit and fungi and flowers and foliage. So those were our prompts this month to work within. And if you'd like to follow along and see how we made these in our previous video, everything is in the playlist, which is Build a Signature 2025, and you can follow along. So you can click the bell icon, you'll be alerted to the next videos all to do with this series, which is building spring journals and then summer journals, autumn and winter. So it's going to be quite a long series of different things. There'll be other things that I do here as well, show you how to make ephemera. And today we're going to be looking at dyeing fabric, making mock leather, making ephemera cards. There's all sorts of things. We're very much looking at foraging and pollinating and all those things that happen around this time of the year in spring. And as a thank you to everybody here who supports the channel, these butterflies that you see here are fussy cuts and they are free for you to download over on my Ko-fi shop page. So the link is in the description box below. If you have a printer, you can download this. It's the Butterfly Collection Volume 1 from the Treasured Page. That's available on my Ko-fi shop, and you can fussy cut these out and then they can come and live on a journaling card or something that you may want. They look absolutely great on these grungy backgrounds and they just add a nice pop of colour, spice things up. Lots of fun. Fun to have the wings overhang as well, and then that to go down on a page and embellish. Could be a tuck. You can keep them as journaling cards. You could even have them at an angle and then tuck something in. Really fun. But there we are, that's all free for you. And also, if you're a member, you can have the entire kit, which is all of these sheets of these beautiful butterflies. You can look at this one, absolutely stunning. I think they've come out so well. Really pleased with these. So I've tidied up these images. They are vintage ones and they look really, really fabulous. So you'll get all of this. And there's also a bonus background sheet that you could have there as well. It comes in 2 colour tones, so that's the lighter one. And then there's this darker, more grunge one as well. So this is the green and this is the blue. They will be there as well. Actually, for the freebie, you get this as well. You'll get this one. But for the members, you'll get the full kit. If you'd like the full kit, it is available for purchase. It's not very expensive at all. I don't want to do that to you. I just also need to cover some administration costs so that I can bring you some free content and keep the Treasured Page going. So that's a thank you to everybody, and we're going to have fun with those. And another idea is that when you've got the card like that, you could cut it in half to give yourself some smaller ones. And from there you would be able to add extra things. So we've been looking at butterflies. So I have been thinking about adding these little labels. These are Tracy Fox labels available from her Etsy shop, and that is Love Junk Journals. And then these are the butterflies that are my freebie today. So they can come and swoop in and look like that. And then you could have something that looks similar to this. Now these are different butterflies to the freebie, but I thought, how fun does this look as a little gallery collection on a page? So this is going to come and live in my journal and be my little butterfly collection as part of my journaling process for what I'm putting together for this spring. So I thought they were really nice. So I thought you could have fun taking that idea forward. They can become little journal spaces on the back, or stick them down as tucks and have paper that pushes in. So I just thought I'd show you how I put one together and finished it off. When I had cut everything, trimmed it down with my collage background, and I'd splattered some of the ink, and I was just using one colour. So this was Scorched Timber, but it didn't have to be this. It could have been Grand Espresso or one of the other dark ones. I only use Distress ink here. I just find that that just goes so far. What I'm going to do is just ink around the edges. So we're just quickly add on that. Now, the inspiration for these cards comes from the idea that a book has been rescued from a fire. So that's part of my storytelling and journaling that I'll be enlightening you with shortly when I get this book bound. I've got some stories. I'm not sure how they're all fitting together, but I've definitely got a sense of something coming along. So we will bring all that to life, I'm sure. So the reason that I'm darkening the edge and giving it sort of almost like a charred look around the sides here is to give a sense that this was from a botany book a long time ago that was actually rescued from a fire. And so that's the mood, that's the inspiration. I just want these to be fragments that were kept, they were cut out of sort of a burnt book and they were saved. That's the mood. So we're just going to glue them down and have this sense that this was an old forgotten journal. It's going to go down as well, and just really straightforward, just one little label. Could be something that you've stamped and then cut out. So just make a label, or if you've got anything that looks like this with the square label design, it looks quite nice with all the organic happenings going on in the background there, because we stamped on some botanical images in the background, so that's nice. So those are the labels on, and then I'm just going to select my butterflies, and I think I just want to make sure that the edges have got a little ink, and this is all we do just to assemble it. Really pretty. I think I'll have that one there, and then we probably want one of these. So that one's a bit small, nice though. Then that one, where was that? Oh, I like this one. So we can have little ones like that. That's a really good idea. And we can also just glue the middle bit and have the wings able to move. I think for that I would have preferred to have had some ink on the back so that I don't see the white paper. Just looks a little nicer when there's something that's dark on the back. But I just think I'm going to glue them down actually. That's nice. Oop. Trying to fly away there. There we go. So that's one nearly done, and then this one is the same, but I could just play around and have a look, because this one looks great. Maybe we'd like to have a larger one and just do what I said and put some ink on the back, and then if the wings are seen, visible or peel up, there we go. If we want to go the extra mile, we can just put a little bit of script stamp on there. That was just one I found in a charity shop, really useful. And I think I'll have him here, and then when I turn it round we'll see that on the back. A little bit interesting. So, also, back in the day when people used to collect butterflies, they used to pin them down on a book. See, that's quite fun as well, having the larger blue one. It's hard to decide. Maybe I'd like this one. Oh, they all look good. I mean, you can have a collection because, you know, that's what it is. It's a collection of butterflies. They all look great. But how about this white one, just because I've just done that one. So I've just picked out a little paper fastener there. That was one from Tim Holtz, and I'm thinking I'm going to make it so this is pinned down like it would have been in a collector's album. So I'm just making a little hole there, seeing where I want to have that, and then just pushing that through. And what I'll do is just put my split pin through there. Okay, I've got it like that. I'm just going to separate the little split pin there, and there we go. So that's like that, and he can move them, which is quite fun, but it also looks similar to how he would have been in one of these collector's albums that had a fascination for insects. So I think that that's quite nice as an idea. The sticker there just protects the metal bits, so if we're handling it we don't hurt ourselves, but also if you want to have this as a tuck for a piece of paper or a card or anything going in the back, it's not going to catch on the paper. So that's how we can have that. And then just what I thought to finish it off, I'm just going to take off the very sharp points of this, just taking those off like that. And then I just ink around, and then those little corner clips just mimic what we're seeing on that label. So I think that that's quite nice. Just more of a finished look. So we're just taking them off. We're not rounding them, just cutting away those corners, giving it a slightly different look. So these are fun alternative ideas of how you could tackle this month's project, which is to make the journaling cards. You could just have smaller ones like this and mount them on the page. They don't have to be large the way I was showing at the beginning of the video, and they don't have to have the fruit, the flowers and the foliage. You could just stick with other animals and creatures, insects that forage, such as butterflies. So this was just a lovely idea of how you can incorporate butterflies into your grunge backgrounds that we're working on this month. These particular butterflies, I must mention that they came from Louisa Heinzel's website. She has some butterflies and they're little cards that look like this, all on a sheet. So there's some bees on her ones as well if you wanted to do bees. So that was Louisa Heinzel and her little images there. So she's got some butterflies as well, you can pick them out, and beetles. So if you wanted to do anything along those lines, quite fun nature, you know, they all look like that. So that's the sort of thing that she's got if you wanted to have a go at that. I thought they were fun. And yes, otherwise we've got these larger ones here. So these larger ones would also look really great on a grungy background. So do have a play with those. I'd love to see any pictures of what you come back with. So, you could have fun with those this month as well, just adding them to your personal journals and having a little play with the butterflies, and get yourself just thinking about nature and unwinding and not worrying about what's going on in the world. Just let's think about what nature's doing. It's just a much more pleasant way of spending an hour than fretting about other things that are outside of our control. That's my take on it anyway. All right, now the next thing I'm going to do is to have a play with some fabric. Okay, what am I up to now? Well, I've got a lot of rusty elements all over the table. So I found rusty nails in my shed when I moved to this house, and we also found this little penknife on a walk, which we took because we didn't want any dogs hurting their feet. All of these things have been collected up because they're absolutely perfect for my art applications, and these are some old bottle caps that I tend to find, and I just pick them up because they're, you know, it's litter. Put them in a bag, and then I bring them home and I wash them, sanitize them, but then I leave them a little bit damp so they really do the rust, and then the rust obviously can be used on our many applications here for junk journaling. So this is a junk journaling project. I'm trying to dye my fabric black just using things that I can find for free. So I've got about 2 tablespoons here worth of freeze-dried coffee granules. So this is nothing special, cheap, everyday, freeze-dried instant coffee. I've got my rusted elements here that I've found, and I've got some old fabric scraps that I have no need for, and I would like to dye them. What I'm going to do is add my hot water. Boiled water going in, making my coffee solution. So I filled that up halfway. We'll just wait for the coffee to dissolve. All right, I'm just going to get this stick and I'm going to put in my cotton fabric. So that's great. That's instantly taking up that stain. To do the same here as well, so just pushing that into the coffee, and that is all we're doing. So this could be coffee from the pot that you have let go cold. This could be coffee granules in the jar that are maybe they're starting to get a little bit out of date. You could use anything like that, just use up what you have. So that's great. So that's soaking up. We're now going to take the rusty bits and we're going to push them in various places, and hopefully the iron rust will start to alter the colour of the coffee. So I'm just going to put that in. We're going to just let it do its thing, and I want to just push them. Let's put in a couple of nails so that we may even get rust marks on our fabric underneath. So we'll just put in a few of the nails around there, and whoopsie, just push that in. Putting the cotton up, and I'm just putting in some of these rusty bits here so that it can rest on the fabric in several different places. Okay, so we just throw those in all over the place for good measure, submerge them, and we may get a little transference of the rust onto our cotton fabric. So I'm just going to tidy this all away and then we'll get on with the next thing. Now, as part of my journal, what I want is some mock leather. I'd like it to be black. I'm trying to make the cover of a book and I want it to look quite realistic with black leather, as if it was the old botany book that was found in the fire years ago. Now, because this is a proper junk journaling project, I want to use up the tea bags. These are old tea bags and they can just be reused. So I have washed used tea bags and I have got them as a supply material. I'm putting down wax paper because that can act as a release, so I will be able to pull off my glue mixture and my tea bag to create my leather in the end. But if I use a heat gun, the wax bonds to the glue and creates a much thicker paper. So I'm actually using it as a backing that is going to remain. I don't really want it to peel away, but you can. But otherwise we can glue to some cellophane or an old file folder, something like that, but I actually want slightly larger piece. So I've got my glue, I've got my paint, but it's much easier to show you than explain it. So I'm just putting down my white school glue to begin with. This is just a standard school PVA white glue. Elmer's glue would be fine. So I'm using water-based school glue. And now I'm just adding in a drop of water here. I'm going to mix this all in just to get a nice runny consistency using the paintbrush and just making a puddle of glue in the middle. So I'm loosening up the water-based glue with water. Just doing this so that I can get the glue all over this piece of wax paper. So now I've got my glue to a nice runny consistency. When you put down tea bags, the material allows water and moisture to seep through by its design. So that's why I'm putting the glue down first. What I also want to do, I want to mix in some acrylic paint. I've just got some children's one here, it's just black. That's what I want because I'm trying to achieve black leather. So I'm just putting down pigment over there. This could be anything, but I just want to use cheap and cheerful and mixing that in. Now that is becoming a nice stain. And now I'm just going to add in my tea bags. I want them to overlap. The fact that there's staining on them is going to be great. And I'm just going to lay them down like this. Just laying them down, overlapping them so that we don't get holes. Okay, what you'll notice is that the glue mixture starts to seep through the tea bag because that's what a tea bag is designed to do. So the moisture will come through. This is going to be very difficult to see what I'm doing because I've chosen black as my colour for this, and it would probably have been easier to put the tea bags down first. So if you did fancy having a go at this, maybe you could do the stain of colour over the top. That's how I've done it in the past, but I'm just trying to save myself more time here. So where I've got this hole here, I'm just now going to overlap that so that I create this mesh effect all the way across. And that is how I'm going to carry on, just putting down my tea bags, using up a resource that we would otherwise be throwing in the bin. There we are, just preparing any little holes that I can see. All right, this is all going to dry, be left outside now. And we can have a look at the end at the mock leather material we will hopefully have created just from some scrap tea bags. Okay, while we wait for the various concoctions and experiments to dry and develop, I am going to open this lovely parcel that's been sent to me by my swap partner, and this is our pollinators project from April. So this was our go through it page. This was a page with a hole in it, that's what we had to make. So let's have a look and see what's inside. Oh, this is beautiful. All right, that is everything. Lovely sunflowers coming at me, and then this gorgeous packet with a little rabbit, really cute. This looks like dyed cotton. Oh, beautiful pink colour, that's great. Look at this fabric. Oh, wow. This comes from Cheryl. Cheryl is from Bristol. Dear Melanie, hello. I hope this swap finds you well. I really enjoyed making this month's project. What an amazing idea. Thank you so much for all the inspiration. I hope the goodies enclosed will be useful. By the way, I have kept the ribbon long for you just in case you wanted to add more dangles. The papers included was a copy of a mixed media page I did a long time ago. I hope you like it. The fabric tie was dyed with madder root from my garden. Oh wow, yes. So Cheryl grew madder. She grew the plant and then she dug it up and she used some of the root to dye fabric, and that's absolutely gorgeous. What a very, very pretty, lovely, natural looking pink. That is so sweet, and all the little things here. So oh well, we're going to treasure that, definitely. So we've got a nice length there. I'll sort that out in a minute. Beautiful card. And there we go. PTO. Oh, hang on. Thank you so much again for organising the swaps and projects. I love it. Have a lovely crafting time, from Cheryl. Thank you, Cheryl. That's really sweet of you. Look at this fabric. Okay, where to begin? So I think these are my papers that are going to come and live in the journal. Let's have a look at what we've got. Oh, this is very exciting. Look at this beautiful embellishment here. Lovely, lovely, lovely fabric with this gorgeous tea rose on it. Oh, wow. That's a really nice thick fabric. Oh, thank you, Cheryl. This is going to be perfect because we've got a great big pink journal to figure out. So this is going to help. Lots of pink colours coming in. Look at that spotty tissue paper. Oh, this is great. All right, I feel this should be what I'm opening first. But no, that looks like the scrap. So I'm going to come back to that in a minute. Because what I want to do is find the project that I am going to be adding to my journal. And then these look like the scrap pack that I can use all the things to make things with this month. Oh, this is exciting. Oh, look at this. This is fantastic. Look at all the bees. So she's done a very similar thing here. It looks like we've got the same book. I'm going to take that away. That's gorgeous. Oh, look at that. All right, so this is the page and this is a tag that comes out with the bees. Oh, gorgeousness. Look at that. Lovely labels, beautiful vintage bees. And then this hexagon honeycomb effect, and then some lovely background images there. How cool is that? So this is going to come and live in my journal. There we go. And then we've got this papers in here, more papers. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, so this is our central piece. This is the page finder. She's left it long, as she said. Now I'm with it. The ribbon. I thought she meant this, but it's this so that I could put more dangles on it. I'm with it now. I get it. Lovely colour. Really nice green colour. That works really lovely with the botanicals. Fun little pom-poms. That's so cute. Oh, cuteness. All right, let's see. So I've got some papers here as well. So this is important because it's all got to come in the journal. Lovely old vintage sheet music. Just that really nice cream colours, coffee colours. Beautiful. Oh, look. Oh, I love this. I saw that Cheryl had this because this is an artichoke, and I just thought that is so unusual. Such an unusual napkin. So loads of napkins. I was really admiring that the other day when it popped up the other day in somebody's wonderful picture over on our Facebook group. So if you're not familiar with our Facebook group, do have a look. We're having a lovely time there, sharing photographs of all the things that we're making based on the monthly challenges. So lots of papers here, fun things to pull from, nice background pieces there, absolutely super. So lots of little bits here, nice papers. We've got some dyed papers, and we've got, oh, look at this. This is artwork that Cheryl's done, so these are digital copies of that. That's great, isn't it? That one's lovely, lovely colours. And then we've got the flowers. I wonder if we could use this as so we could use this as collage sheet. That's really cool. This one might work to the theme of what I've got going on. Something to really lighten our mood today. So thank you, Cheryl. That's lovely. I think this is Cheryl's artwork, and it looks like she may have scanned that in and then printed it out. So that's fine. Cheryl has her own channel. I'll leave a link to her channel below. You can have a look and see what Cheryl does. She does all sorts of things over there. And we'll get the name of that put up on the screen now. Scraps from Cheryl's craft table to mine, and this looks like it's been made from wallpaper, which is gorgeous. Oh, clever stuff. These are lovely die cuts here. Things, we'll just whiz through all of this. So little scraps of scrapbooking paper. Labels, that's brilliant. We've just been saying about labels this morning, so they would work perfectly. That's the sort of thing to look out for. Lovely butterfly and a nice interesting background, colourful or grungy, whichever you prefer. Lots of embellishments here and some little sequins, bits and bobs. I'm sure we can, oh look, that's fun. Look at these. Oh, these are good. They're nice little embellished pieces. Little sparkly flowers and some sequins. These are little fun things. I wonder if I could put a little jump ring in there and have those dangling off of something. So lots of interesting bits. Lovely trim of some daisy paper here. That's nice, pretty paper. I think we can tuck a few things in there. Oh, these are great. Look, puzzle pieces. Oh, that is fun. So we could decorate that, we can stain those, and then you've got the windows. Nice little idea to go with the project of holes in pages and going through something. Tags and tickets and little journaling cards. Lots of fun little scraps. That's a fun bit. That's some painting that she's done. Just from the scrap tray. Absolutely great. And then what have we got here? Some seed packets. Oh yeah, they're fun. They're fun. They look a bit like they could be Tracy Foxes. Matte paper, gingham, lots of images here. Wallpaper, florals, and some bits and pieces. That's fun with a little lace. I love that. That's great. And then some embossed paper, another bit of stain, and some butterflies. And then we've got that. That's a really pretty piece. I love that. Tags to embellish. Lovely old vintage cards there. They're fun. We can use those. They look great on the tags, wouldn't they? We could make a few tags with something like that. So that's an idea straight away. And then we've got some other images here with some tulips, which were definitely, oh, tulips. Lots of tulips. And that's a very pretty piece of vellum. Very pretty piece of vellum. And then, oh, lovely little cluster that she's made. This is nice. Nice little idea there. And then, oh, it's all one piece. Oh, it's a snippet roll. I love that. That's so good. Oh, I'll definitely be adding that to the journal. That is really fun. I love all the little handmade pieces. So let's just put this all together. And then I can delve into all of that and add that to my scrap tray to pull from to add what I can into my new journal. Here's a fabulous little bundle there to pull from. This can come and live in the journal as well. This beautiful bag that she's made. So we'll keep that all safe. And I'll just put this off to one side with our gorgeous project page and this fantastic fabric. What a lovely bundle. We can find some nice things in there to add to the journal. Okay, thank you so much, Cheryl. That was really kind of you. Okay, now what I don't want to do is get overwhelmed. I've got a lot to do, so I'm going to start pulling it together this month. This is the journal that I've made. This is my spring journal, but I will carry on making this and working in it for a long time to come, I'm sure. It's going to be a lovely journal. I've got a lot of ideas for this one, so I've got to piece it together now. This is going to be my opening page. This was our flower project, the very first project we started with in March. So then in April we had our pollinators, so I'm going to be focusing in on the second part of the signature. So this is the first signature. This will be the starts of the second signature. I love the fact that Cheryl's chosen green because I do have my own papers with a little bit grunge, and I think that this is just going to offset really nicely with that colour. So I'm going to be mounting them onto pages like this and potentially create some books. We'll figure this out with different pages. All right, let's have a look at our concoction here, see how our experiment is going. Now, this was the freeze-dried coffee, which was hot when it went in and it just dissolved. Now, the fabric has soaked it up, and then we've got all the rusty bottle caps, nails, and rust elements in there. What I'm not seeing is, I'm not seeing that it's going black. I'm not seeing that the fabric's turned grey. I'm seeing that it's gone quite a nice colour, a shade of brown. Now, if this is turning darker or going black, it is taking a long time to do it. I also feel like it needs a little bit more water to be more submerged. Okay, so now what I want to try as an additional experiment is to take a tea bag. This is black tea, just a normal breakfast tea. Hot water going in. I'm making a cup of tea. And I'll just do it like that, so it's a nice rich colour there. I'm just agitating it to get a nice strong tea, and at this point, if you were making a cup of tea, you'd take that out, put milk in it, and that would be a lovely cup of tea if you were drinking it in the UK. Now, I am assured that in America you like your coffee for very good reason, a historical reason, and it's all to do with the Boston Tea Party. So if you are familiar with that, then the Boston Tea Party was all due to the British putting tariffs on tea. Back in the 1700s or before independence, the British put tariffs on tea coming over to America. Well, Americans did like cup of tea. They did enjoy it until the tariffs were put on. And they got very upset with that, so a team of people in Boston called the Sons of Liberty decided to sneak on board the tea ship and dump the entire cargo ship load into the Boston River. And that is how Americans like their tea. They like it in the river, and they like their coffee black. So there we go, a little bit of history for you as I'm stirring this tea, but that is why Americans prefer their coffee, for very good historical reasons. And I think the British people would absolutely respect the fact that the tea got dumped and they stood up for what was right. All right, there we go. So just a bit of history there. So this is coffee, this is tea. I'm now going to add it into my coffee mixture along with the tea bag, and we'll just let that all sit. Rusty bit on there. We'll keep the tea bag in there just for the extra staining effect that comes from tea. Nice tannin. Okay, I'm back. This has been sitting here for about 40 minutes more. It's definitely gone a very, very dark brown colour. So I'm just agitating it now. I can see that it's reaching a more pleasing aging brown. So it was a white and cream fabric. We've now turned it into brown. Now, just to show you what I'm trying to achieve, this is a piece of fabric done in a very similar way. This was using tea, and also I think I used avocado dye, and that was the black on there, and it just really changed it. Now I think every cotton is going to be different. This was a linen, and the conditions were different as well, so I did this outside. I didn't use coffee, so this was just done with tea and avocado, and this is coffee. So I'm not sure if I'm going to get a similar result, but we're going to find out. So let's have a look. Okay, we can see what we've got. Okay, just lifting that open. So this was the white one, this was the cream one. Yeah, we're getting some rust stains on there now. Okay, so I'm going to clear up. I'm going to save my dye so that I can dye some paper. I'm going to leave this outside to dry to see if we can get any rust effects on there. And then I'm going to bring back my mock leather tea bag experiment. Okay, here we have my mock leather tea bag and glue paper. So this has been backed onto the wax paper. I've now peeled it off of the mat that I started on. We've got quite a strong construction here. This is very cool. So there we go. That could be a cover of something. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. We've got a lovely wrinkle effect here, and it is very dark and very black. So what I want to do now is introduce some oxide effect, and I'm going to use my ground espresso. I don't have an oxide in a black, but I would like the dark brown. I think that will add a little extra detail as it sinks into all the cracks and the creases, hopefully bringing on a texture something similar to a very old-fashioned leather with texture in it. Next thing I want to do is just saturate it in water and allow the oxide to get really down deep into the cracks, so you can start to see the colour change. I'm hoping that will show up on the video. You can see the brown reacting there. Okay, now I've got the oxide ink to settle into the creases. You can see there the effect. You can see there's a light, there's a dark, there's a real texture appearing. It could be fabric that has got worn. It's a distressed look. So that's great. What I would like to do now is to create more of a leather feel, and for that I feel I need a little bit of a shine, and I've got here off to the side. I don't know how effective this is, but it's been sitting in the cupboard right at the back. It is for repairing scuffs and damage to shoes, but it is really, really old and it's very leaky, so I'm hoping that I won't get it everywhere. But I'm just going to try this. It sort of leaks everywhere a little bit, this one. Yeah, I don't know. It's not great. So I'm putting that on, but I'm thinking I will probably be better off with some sort of a cloth. And if you haven't got any acrylic paint but you've got shoe polish, then you can do this over the top of just the glued down tea bags and see what effect you get. So you may have something that just takes away scuffs on your shoes. Okay, I'm going to leave that to just soak in. So that will be left to dry, and then there's that. Okay, and then I'm just going to go over a little bit over the top just to put back some of the nice crinkles on the top. Okay, I have decanted the dye into this beaker here, and I'm looking at my first signature here. I've got the paintbrush, I've got the dye, I've got all the papers open. So I'm thinking what I would like to do is have a darkened edge around this page. So now I'm putting my silicone mat down here so that I can work on this page and see if I can get a colour off of the coffee and the tea that we have created today. I'm just going to paint it all over, but I'm focusing on the edges, just losing those white edges. So I don't want to waste the stain, I'm just adding this here. I'm not worried if we're getting it elsewhere, because I just need this to look wrinkled, crinkled, rustic and aged. And I just want it for these pieces because I need it to tie in with this digital of what I'm seeing here. So I want to bring in the browner tones. I'm just pulling this away while this is wet and able to shape the paper a little bit more. Just think we can roll some of that off there, be able to add something on. Doesn't matter if it tears, I'm really not precious about it at this point. It's going to all just become something different anyway, so we'll just take that bit away. Make that shorter. Make that shorter. Alright, so there we go, that happened. Put that like that. Okay, I'm having fun now. Just put some glue down here and I'm adding in some cotton or fabric to match these up. I've got a bit of coffee stain on there. I'm just going to hide it in with this little bit of ribbon coming in. Really fun. So we'll see that through here like that. So little extra textured detail to these pages now. So this is the coffee stain with the water damage, and that's all looking good. I've just got to get this to sit in, and then when it's fully dry, because it's still a little bit damp on this edge, when it's fully dry I'm going to be sewing that on. So all the hinges are sewn in, so that's another thing to do. So that's going to be there like that. They're still a bit damp, but this has all got the coffee on. So again, I'll probably put some cotton down the middle there. I'm not sure if this is going to be my middle page, but these have all been stained up, as are my hands, and that's how that's all coming together as a really old part of this journal. Bring this back in just to show you. This has been sitting outside. It's not fully dry, but you can see there is a colour change here where the rust has reacted over on this. I think if I leave it, it would definitely carry on staining because the cotton is still very, very wet. However, in the interest of wanting to get on, I just want to rinse it off ever so slightly, because we can see we've got some colour effects on there, and I think a lighter version of that would be fine if I just rinse it off, because it does smell of coffee. There's bits all over it. It doesn't feel clean, so I'm going to wash that through, just rinse it through in ice cold water. Well guys, the fabric has been a success. I'm very pleased with the colour tones that I've achieved with the rusty elements. I've just been wrapping it up and seeing what it looks like. This is the darker one. I'll show you that in just a moment. This is lovely because these techniques just allow you to dye some fabric without having any need for any specialised ink or any other equipment. It's just hot water, coffee, and a few rusty bits of metal that you can keep your eye out for and just have on hand as another little junk journaling supply. So this is the butterfly coming in, looking really nice as a little topper there, just on a little fabric parcel. And I thought that this was a really cute idea for the foraging theme, so this is how it's looking. So this was the darker cream fabric that we put in, and it's just a little fun idea to keep together the journaling cards. Perhaps if you're keeping them in the journal as a pack or sending them out, it's just a nice little rustic way of doing something, particularly if you want to craft with the idea or the intention that this comes from a very, very long time ago in history. So this was just a nice way of having a look and having a play with a little scrap of fabric, and also incorporating it into an artistic application of how you could display things. And I also thought that the reason I've got this fabric is because I was wanting to make a little foraging bag or pouch to put scraps or the journaling cards in as a presentation. But I just thought I'd show you the idea. So there you go. You can see how you can alter your fabrics and just create some really, really fun textures on there. And the reason that it hasn't gone orange with rust is because they just simply weren't left there long enough. And that's quite nice because I wanted this smoky sort of smoke damage effect going on here onto this piece. I didn't really want the orange of the rust, but you can leave that out for a lot longer and then you would get the orange rust. So we're just getting the blackened stain of the iron. Really, really cool. So this is going to become a lining fabric for my mock leather. Create a cover for a journal, which would be something that will be a thin booklet that could come and live in my main spring journal. So just to show you can tear it down like any other paper. That is working out really nicely. So I'm just removing that. There you go, and I'm just removing this piece as well. And now I have this. So this is going to be my journaling cover, and I think we'll have this wrapped over. So I've trimmed it down. I've got it looking like this. I'm just going to use my Fabri-Tac. Now this is a wax resistant paper, so it's not going to be great. So I do want to sew this one. I will have to secure the fabric because I don't think the Fabri-Tac is going to do it. I think it could peel away. So So I'm just working in sections. Now my original idea for the mock leather was that I was going to line some cardstock and to fold it in. I wasn't going to line it with fabric, but then this has turned out so nice, and as the project's evolved as I've been making it, I just love the texture. So had I started out with this in mind and having the fabric, I may not have chosen to put the wax paper behind there, because if you do want to glue fabric to your mock leather, choose a backing paper that doesn't have a wax resist on it. That will peel up, so you may find you need to put a few stitches in there just to keep that all together. But this project is so much fun. It does feel really substantial now with that fabric in there. I'm just punching through an eyelet, just squashing that on. So we've got that looking like that now, and then I'm just going to put in a ribbon closure. Okay, I've got this ribbon closure. I'm just pulling this through, and I'm going to make a loop here and pull that, and then this is the closure. It's going to wrap round like this, and then it will be able to tuck down there, and that is how that will work, and it will be better if there was something in it. So now I'm just going to put some pages in here just to show you how it could be. You could have your artist papers in there and be able to work from your lovely flat but protected nice artist cover, and that is how we've done that today, just for some old tea bags. Look at this, guys. It's just really fun, really simple. Just find some sort of fabric or chop up an old scarf. You know, you can just find these things and then you'll be able to create something like that. So I have gone round with a sewing machine, but that could have been hand stitched for a more authentic look. So if you prefer your tea in the river and you do not have access to tea bags, you may have access to coffee filter papers, and you can try this technique and see how it turns out. I'd be really keen to know. So this is how it's looking front and back with this ribbon here that I've got. And there we go. We could wrap that round. This could be some salvage fabric from some old clothing, as this is sari silk, I believe, and then we go like that, and that is how it's looking. Really fun. And then of course you can have all your little fun foraging finds going in there this month. This can come and tuck in the journal, or it could even be the second signature of your journal. You could have the page ribbon coming out of the top just for the pages within. So I hope you found fun and value here today. I do hope that you will go and have a look at the butterflies and print them off if you can. If not, I hope you've enjoyed the wealth of ideas that I've presented here today. And do give me a thumbs up and a comment if you thought that that was worth your time. I know lots of you have been commenting saying that grunge is just not your style. It's not for you. I hope I've given you a little bit of inspiration of how you can bring nice white clean pages into a more grunge background as a backdrop, and give yourself a more of a vintage nature feel. So you can have these darkened earthy tones, but you can put a fresh pop of colour, and this of course could be florals as well, so it's just a different idea. And this would of course work really nicely for anybody who likes to work with Edith Holden style pages. Alright everybody, there's lots there for you to have a think about. I hope that that was fun for you. Do please like and subscribe, do write a comment. So thank you so much for joining me today. Do please remember to look out for the butterflies. Even if you haven't got a printer, look out for them in nature, and I will see you on my next video. Above everything else, guys, just slow down and make crafting time for you. Bye bye now.